damn it, if Creepy can do this so many times, I can do it at least once.
Penis, penis, penis. Penis, penis, penis. Penis, penis, penis.
Creepy?
Penis, penis. Decker?
Hello?
Decker?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Is that you, Decker?
No. This is God.
Nice try, Decker. God doesn't sound remotely like that.
How do you even know that?
My parents used to take me to a Southern Baptist church. And then there were all of those business meetings.
Never mind. How do I connect the video feed?
One moment. I can adjust the feed from my end, I think.
Wait, one second. Do you have pants on?
Give me a minute.
Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Darker Shadow, the internet personality with the best hair. As the Summer of Hellraiser has taken such a toll on my psyche, I'm actually at the point where a crossover review with Creepy may in fact be therapeutic.
What?
You heard me. I'm taking a week off Hellraiser so we can plug the Patreon campaign. Again.
We are?
Yes, and since so many of my fans requested it, we're going to take on the sequel to the live-action Guyver movie.
Okay.
The follow-up to the highly disappointing Guyver film, Guyver Dark Hero, was made a mere 3 years after the first. This time, however, the script stuck quite a bit closer to the source material, earning the film an R rating as opposed to its predecessor's PG-13.
Because when your horror slash sci-fi slash action slash comedy film fails at the box office, throwing in more violence and gore will definitely sidestep any issues the sequel has.
Acting. Mustn't forget the acting, Creepy.
Oh, Lord and Lady, no. Another 2 hours with Vivian Wu.
Despite the acting quality not changing much between films, the studio did switch out quite a few of the members of the cast. Most notably, Jack Armstrong does not return as the lead role, being replaced by David Hayter of Metal Gear Solid fame. I wonder if Hayter delivers his dialogue for this movie in much the same way he does for the games.
They've built a new Metal Gear, Snake.
Metal Gear.
What about the Pentagon?
Pentagon?
I have a penis.
Penis? Hey, wait!
But never mind that. Let's go straight into the movie. Our film begins down at some unnamed docks on a dark, mysterious night where a gang of drug smugglers are shipping in cocaine through Barbie dolls.
Wait, what?
The latest technology. It mixes cocaine with plastic. You can shape it into anything you like. Melts it back down. It's 100% pure.
That doesn't make any sense!
It makes more sense than the whole plot of the first film.
First of all, the average Barbie doll doesn't have enough room on the inside to hold more than a few grams of cocaine, making this entire plan ludicrous and a waste of time. Second, you're right. They have an easy enough time with the heist, considering they only have to deal with one security guard, who looks an awful lot like Dante Hicks. That is, until the Guyver shows up. And he kills, because he's a dark hero.
That's right. I'd momentarily forgotten that this movie was made in 1994. Hooray.
Damn! He kills a lot in this movie. And this is just the opening action teaser.
Evidently, our bloodied hero is still relatively new to the rescue business, as he's too caught up in dismembering the smugglers to notice the drug lord pointing a gun at the security guard.
Why would you do that? Especially when Cyber Ninja Superhero is standing 10 feet away.
I'm not even supposed to be here today!
Having failed to rescue the security guard, Guyver slits the drug lord's throat. He then leaves his personal tag on the ship for the cops to find, who arrive seconds later.
A face laser. Looks like a very useful piece of technology to have. Too bad he only ever uses it for graffiti.
What would you use it for, Decker? Making toast?
I never settle for making toast. I'd use it to make sandwiches. After the opening credits, which have a few suggestive names in them, we cut to Sean Barker in his apartment. Apparently, he has been demoted from college student to elementary school, going by the scribblings in his notebook.
I know college is supposed to be tough, but I don't think they can send you that far back for flunking out.
Well, going by his cognitive capabilities in the last film, I'm surprised they didn't send him all the way back to kindergarten.
Sean catches a tabloid news broadcast reporting on a werewolf sighting in Utah. Using his VCR like a DVR, which were not even marketed to the public in 1994, Sean catches sight of a child's scribble drawing depicting cave paintings of zoonoids found in a nearby archaeological dig. Well, that's certainly enough evidence to pack up your belongings and march across several state lines all by yourself.
Good thing, because that's exactly what he does! Before Sean leaves, though, he has to dump his inconvenient love interest from the last movie, who is being played by Billy Lee, as opposed to Vivian Wu.
How many people are you gonna have to kill before you realize...
I don't kill. It kills.
But you are the Guyver, and therefore, you kill.
I haven't been able to decide so far whether this guy is irresponsible, in denial, or just a complete asshat.
I'm going with asshat. Definitely asshat.
Now that the disposable love interest has been disposed of, Sean begins his long march from California to Utah.
As opposed to taking the bus, or a train, or even renting a car. All were viable means of transportation and cheap to come by when this film was released. Despite this, Sean eventually does arrive in Utah at a convenience store, which really lives up to the name. Said convenience store just so happens to have not only the person who knows about the archaeological dig, works there and can get him inside, but who is also the new non-disposable love interest. Does this convenience store sell helicopters as well?
No, but I imagine the nearby Walmart does. Our hot scientist love interest, whose name is Corey, played by Kathy Christopherson, reluctantly agrees to bring Sean to the site along with the case of beer she's picking up.
What kind of archaeological dig site permits drinking beer on the job?
I don't know, but suddenly I have an overwhelming urge to play in the dirt. Corey takes Sean to the cave where the paintings are and orders him to stay put, meaning he wanders off immediately. Nobody in the dig seems bothered by this unauthorized stranger wandering around, as they're too focused on splitting cave rocks. Sean soon comes across a cave drawing that matches the scribbles in his notebook, which he made during his naked sleep.
Great. The plot of this movie is that Earth is being invaded by paper doll men. Suddenly, the big-lipped racist gremlin from the last movie doesn't seem quite as bad.
Nothing in this movie can be as bad as big-lipped racist gremlin.
Very quickly, we cut to several other characters that are introduced in rapid succession. Corey's father, Marcus, played by Stuart Weiss, company supervisor Arlen Crane, played by Bruno Patrick, and security goon Gus Volker, played by Wes Dietrich.
You go get him set up. I've got to go crack the whip.
I could make so many S&M jokes right now.
Isn't that supposed to be my job?
I can't help it, it's all the Hellraiser movies I've been watching this summer.
Sure it is, Decker. We believe you.
Sean joins another member of the dig, who is dusting off a fossil that he's found.
Well, we think it's some variety of Pachycephalosaur, although it's kind of small for that family. See, once we carbon date it, then we'll get a real good idea what era it's from.
Carbon date? You don't carbon date fossils. You have to use radiometric dating.
And it's very important that they use proper terminology in this sci-fi horror action film about cyber ninjas and alien monsters. After playing in the sand all day, Sean and Corey have a private tailgate party together. Corey attempts to wheedle information out of Sean, wanting to know how he knows so much about the cave paintings. Sean blows Corey off, who is understandably pissed. Luckily for Sean, a zoonoid decides to attack an overweight redneck hunter and his random black friend wandering in the woods together.
You go and get help. I'll take care of the bear.
Right. He'll take care of the bear.
Now that Corey is out of the way, it's time for Sean to transform and super speed into the woods for the movie's first real zoonoid battle.
Like he could have done when he was hitchhiking to Utah.
Let it go, Creed. We're finally gonna have another fight scene.
I see. Well, in that case...
Go, go, Power Rangers! Go, go, Power Rangers!
You're never going to stop doing that, are you?
Go Power Rangers! Mighty Morphin Power Rangers!
Nope.
Following the battle, Atkins, who is now the only black guy left in the movie, played by Christopher Michael, finds a suspicious piece of Zoanoid skin and keeps it. Knowing there is a new Zoanoid disguised in the camp, Sean and Atkins end up at one another's throats. Fortunately, it's hard to get away with murder in a crowd, so Sean goes back to camp, where he has another nightmare during his naked sleep. It, really doesn't look like Sean's having a nightmare.
I know. I think this scene calls for a different sort of background music. Because these characters lack the capacity to progress the plot on their own, the plot lends them a hand in splitting open a wall in the cave, allowing our cast to make a discovery. After a digging and science montage, the archaeologists unearth part of what is a spaceship. This calls for a celebration, meaning that case of beer that Corey was buying earlier in the film can finally be put to good use.
I never covered that in the college courses.
You went to the wrong college.
Marcus and Crane lead a team into the ship so they can determine whether or not it's safe. Once the all-clear sign's been given, Sean and Corey go aboard so more of the plot can finally get moving.
No one is to touch anything or enter any sealed room.
Which is, of course, the first thing these two do.
Like you said, Decker, they've got to keep the plot rolling.
Sean wanders off on his own yet again to talk to the spaceship ceiling about why he became the Guyver. Meanwhile, Corey stumbles across a new sealed Guyver unit. Does this mean that Corey's going to become the new Guyver?
I hope so. She needs something to do in this movie aside from serving as the protagonist's Crackerjack prize. Crane arrives to confiscate the Guyver unit, which Marcus approves of, despite his daughter's protests. Thinking that it will help him get into Corey's pants, Sean comes clean about some of what he knows regarding the Kronos Corporation and the Zoanoids. All things considered, she takes it pretty well.
I trusted you, Sean. I trusted you not to be crazy.
That line is so stupid. And yet I love it.
Corey soon finds that Sean was telling her the truth when she goes to eavesdrop on Crane. Catching her in the act, Crane and his security goon take Corey hostage, meaning she has to be rescued. If she'd put the blasted Guyver unit on earlier, this not only would not have happened, but the movie would have gotten a whole lot cooler as well.
You're just saying that so we can both stare at Guyver titties. Which I approve of.
As opposed to the Furby boobs from the last movie?
While his goons take Corey away, Crane goes to the cave to have a heart-to-heart chat with Sean about their status as bastard adopted alien children. Crane transforms and pitches the generic villain speech to Sean, who shoots him down, meaning Sean has to get bonked in the head.
I love my job.
A sales pitch usually works better if you leave off the villain laugh.
That didn't seem to matter to any of my supervisors at Kroger. And you will get no raises ever. Sean is drugged, but then gets rescued by Atkins, who is actually a government secret agent man. Rather than stick around to answer Atkins' questions, Sean steals a Jeep and drives off in a half-conscious attempt to rescue Corey. Meanwhile, someone else is already attempting to rescue Corey, meaning we finally get a new battle as one rogue Zoanoid goes up against two in a battle for supremacy.
Which means...
Now they run and now they hide, 'cause you're on the winning side.
Not every fight scene in this movie has to be done with Power Rangers battle music, creepy.
I know it doesn't. That doesn't make it any less fun, though.
If you'd like, we could run this scene as it is.
Why does the Rhino Zoanoid sound like a bunch of angry cats?
I bet Ron Wasserman doesn't sound nearly so bad now, does he?
Sean arrives at the gorge where the Zoanoid battle is taking place despite nearly running off the road several times. Foregoing personal safety and all common sense, our hero chooses to leap off the edge of the gorge instead of transforming first. Meaning we finally see the Guyver in action again after more than a half hour of waiting. The Guyver quickly makes work of the attacking Zoanoids, but spares Corey's rescue her when she stands in his way, since the rogue Zoanoid is revealed to be her father. So, for once, he manages to not stab his love interest. This movie really is an improvement over the original.
You manage that by changing actors, Creepy. That's like comparing a pile of garbage to compost. Compost is useful, but still smells bad. Sean powers down, revealing himself, and explains his Guyver origins to Corey. While this is going on, Crane has taken the dig personnel hostage. Luckily, Agent Atkins and his Howling Commandos rescue everyone! And except those two that were already killed, but fuck them. The hostages decide that now is the best time to get the fuck out of this movie. Good thing, too, as a lone Zoanoid was still on the loose, who manages to take out Atkins' entire commando squad. Meanwhile, having tried to eat each other's faces, Sean and Corey sneak back into the site so they can blow the ship to Kingdom fucking Come.
That I have spent my whole life working toward this.
You spent the last 5 years working towards this. You're 28. Do the math.
That's 5 years in Hollywood time, Decker. By the studio's count, she'll be reaching her expiration date any day now. Sean sneaks back into the spaceship to have one last chat session with the ceiling. This time, the ceiling actually responds, giving Sean the visual Cliff Notes version of the alien's history and where both the Zoanoids and the Guyver come from. The sad thing is, this is just like watching the History Channel. Crane shows up before Corey can flip the switch, meaning Guyver has to come to her rescue again. And this means...
I know this is an archaeological site, but that shit is getting pretty fucking old. Sean's ass-kickery makes mincemeat out of the spare Zoanoids, but Crane planned ahead just in case of an eventuality like this. Using the spare Guyver unit, Crane transforms further into a Zoanoid-Guyver hybrid. Which you must admit is a pretty fucking awesome concept. However, the Guyver unit that Crane absorbed into himself had a damaged control metal that gives him terrible migraines. Sean uses this opportunity to rip the control metal free, then fires his nipple blasters! We had to wait the whole movie just to see him use the nipple blaster attack again.
Look at the movie's budget, Decker. They couldn't afford more than one nipple attack. With Crane and the other Zoanoids dead, the only thing left is to destroy the cave so that no one can utilize the alien technology. Atkins tries to convince Sean to sign up as a government Guyver agent, but Sean blows him off so he can finally score with Corey. No, really. He spent most of the movie trying to get into Corey's pants.
All right. He's cute, but nothing is happening. He's a little...
Hi, coffee? Nice guy. Kid, you gotta get your priorities straight.
Well, at least Sean got to score this time without having someone standing over his shoulder complaining about his technique. Well, that was Guyver Dark Hero, and it was a hell of an improvement. Well, that was different. And that's a damn good thing, too, because the last movie was such a boring clusterfuck. I don't think it's possible for a sequel to be different and not be any better. Not only that, but this particular continuation manages to be vastly more entertaining than its predecessor.
I have to concur wholeheartedly. Guyver Dark Hero may never be considered a cinematic masterpiece, but it does bring on the entertainment, which, if you will recall, is more than most can say about the first film. While the acting doesn't stand out on the whole as good, the selection of new actors is still better. The plot feels more concurrent, and there's far less meandering and pointless drivel filling up each scene.
It's funny, whereas the terrible acting in the last film served to solidify how much I detested it, the same quality of acting, if only slightly better, out of Guyver Dark Hero becomes somehow charming, coupled with the very well-choreographed action sequences. I found the plot easy to follow, but there were a few odds and ends that got brought up only to go nowhere. However, it's more than entertaining enough for me not to care too much about that.
Another plus in this film's favor compared to its predecessor would be the minimalistic approach. The first Guyver tried way too hard to be something it wasn't, which was a big-budget action sci-fi flick. Dark Hero recognizes the limitations of its budget and works that to its advantage. The sets and setting are simple, but make the most of what is available.
Overall, Guyver Dark Hero is a vast improvement, but that's not saying much. And indeed, it isn't what you would consider high-quality or high-class entertainment. However, it's still damn fun to watch, and worth taking a look at, coming in at 3 paper doll alien invaders out of 5.
Despite this film's glaring flaws, it does have a certain charm to it. I would have preferred that the character Corey gain a Guyver unit of her own so that she and Sean could become a battle couple. That would have made for an awesome Guyver 3, which sadly never happened since the rights to the franchise rolled back to its original owners in Japan. With that in mind, Guyver Dark Hero gets 3 oddly suggestive nightmares out of 5.
I must admit, I'm a little surprised that you contacted me to do a crossover again so soon.
That was 6 months ago, and we do crossovers every month now to plug the Patreon campaign.
Yes, but usually I have to hack my way into your show to remind you of that.
Well, you try reviewing the ass end of the Hellraiser franchise and see how long it takes for you to snap!
Oh, you haven't even gotten into the worst of it, Decker. Let me know how Hellraiser Revelations works out.
This is gonna be harder on him than all the ape sex he kept watching during the summer of the Planet of the Apes.
I doubt it's going to be that bad. Right? Thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shadow, and remember, if you receive news reports about an archaeological dig that has unexplained phenomena involving aliens and monsters and cyber ninjas doing battle, and the primary import is Bud Light, be sure to check their sources.
And that being a cyber ninja superhero does not automatically grant you a license to kill.
It doesn't? I've been lied to!
Next up, more Elvis sightings.